Okay, what's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. When does political leadership become political vengeance? When does political leadership become political vengeance? Because to me, what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago right now looks less like governance. It looks less like governance and more like a carbon copy of Donald Trump's revenge politics playbooks. Now, stay with me now. I'm going to explain. So, as we do here on Trinidad Empowerment Network, we deal in facts. Let's deal with the facts. So, former Prime Minister Keith Rowley is claiming that he was placed on an Interpol watch list by Trinidadian authorities whilst trying to travel through Antigua. Whilst trying to travel through Antigua, I believe he was on his way to another Caribbean island. I can't remember exactly where, but he was, whilst traveling through Antigua, he was stopped because he was allegedly placed on an Interpol watch list.
In the lap of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and the Commissioner of Police of Trinidad and Tobago and the Attorney General, who, it is my view, this development is the kind of development I would expect from the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, an individual that I will get back to in the not too distant future. But for the moment, I just say to you that this is what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to say this to the wider national community, many of whom have taken sides one way or the other. I remember in 1939, there was something called the League of Nations, which was the precursor entity before the United Nations. And Emperor Haile Selassie had his country invaded by Italy. He appealed to the League of Nations for help and protection. They turned their back on him, and in so doing, destroyed whatever potential the League of Nations would have had to foster international peace. And in that moment of despair, Emperor Haile Selassie said these words. He said, "Today for me, tomorrow for you."
Now, whether you love or hate Rowley, and let me be clear, I have heavily criticized the man in the past. So however you feel about the man, this raises a major red flag. And like I said, I'm no fan of Keith Rowley and how he ran the country. But if this can be done to a former prime minister, what can be done to you? I'm going to say this again. I am no huge fan of how Rowley ran the country. 624 murders last year is horrendous. But I would go on to say this. What I'm seeing now in Trinidad is a Donald Trump style politics. It's a Donald Trump style politics. I'm going to break down exactly why I see it this way. So let's start off with what's currently happening now, the state of emergency. So as you know, if you pay attention to American news, Trump recently released the National Guard. Without its authority, he released the National Guard in certain states, I believe in California and certain other states. We see the Prime Minister of Trinidad declaring a state of emergency for the second time in about 6 months, after criticizing the first one, expanding police powers, mobilizing security forces, and calling it necessary for national security. But if you recall, when Donald Trump did a similar thing in America with the National Guards. Trump sent the National Guard into cities like Portland and Washington, I recall, to restore order. It was never about security. It was never about crime. It was essentially about intimidation, referring to Donald Trump. So same here. The state of emergency isn't about fixing crime. If you watch my previous videos, you know that. It's about optics. It's about control. State of emergency does not fix crime. It's a short-term fix for long-term problems. If I have an illness, if I am diabetic, and I take insulin, insulin doesn't cure me of the illness of diabetes. What cures the illness is me losing weight, addressing the food I eat, reducing sugars, and now I'm dealing with the symptoms, right? Anyway, I digress. Number 2, CEPEP. The firings that happened at CEPEP. You saw Donald Trump with Doge, Elon Musk, the Department of Government Efficiency, sacking people left, right, and center, causing plane crashes and whatnot in America. Over 10,000, CEPEP workers were sacked recently. These are low-income earners, parents, elderly citizens just trying to survive on government work. Why? To restructure the program in Kamla's image. Trump did the same, backing Elon Musk as he gutted the Department for Government Efficiency, Doge, in America. You may have heard of it, where he sacked so many people that you had 2 or 3 plane crashes almost overnight. You saw the floods that happened in Texas recently. They blamed that on Doge because so many people in places were sacked and weren't able to warn people that a flood was coming and over 100 people died. So you see the effect of Doge. Now, the effect of sacking CEPEP workers is that people are going to go hungry. Kids are not going to have the money to buy a uniform to go to school. There's been no replacement so far, right? The similarities are uncanny. Number 3, we've seen recently with Interpol and Rowley, you've seen Trump in America demanding Obama, Biden, and the Clintons be arrested. And you've seen what's happened recently with Rowley, like I've mentioned. So let's not sugarcoat this. Targeting Rowley, an ex-prime minister who recently stepped down, is the exact same strategy Trump used when he chanted, "Lock her up," about Hillary Clinton. When he said Obama should be sent to jail. No one knows for what crime. When he said Obama should be sent to jail. When he said Biden is a criminal. Yet there's no crime he's accused him of committing. The similarities, like I say to you, is there in plain sight. It's there in plain sight. America sneezed and Trinidad catches a cold. So this to me is not about justice. What happened to Rowley, I don't think. It's about humiliation. And it's about destroying your political opponent through the state machinery. That's exactly what's happening here. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. Level with me. Level with me and you see exactly what's going on here. This is insanity. The people of Trinidad did not elect the UNC for this. Don't matter who you are, whatever side you stand on, you cannot say with good conscience you elected these people for the things they are doing now. What have they achieved? But I digress. Number 4, the firing of the central bank governor in Trinidad. You may have forgotten this. Now, Trump replacing qualified expert with loyal puppets. We've seen that before, right? Well, we've seen Trump doing that now. replacing experts with loyal puppets. Now, the Prime Minister sacked the governor of the central bank recently. You would have seen one of my videos if you pay attention to 10, of course. Now, she raised concern about the FOREX cartel. I will remind you of that. That was headline news for a little while. That's gone suspiciously quiet at the minute. No one's talking about the FOREX cartel anymore. The Prime Minister promised transparency. She said names would be revealed. Well, where are they? Where are the names? You've got a new governor in place now. And there's a new governor in place now. Where are the names? Instead, a new appointee, who appears to be a yes man, who will never rock the boat. You see the same playbook. It's the same as when Trump removed independent voices in the Federal Reserves and the CIA, replacing them with loyalists who will never challenge him. The head of the CIA is a guy called Keith Hedgesett, I believe, in America, a former Fox News TV presenter. The head of the CIA is a former Fox News TV presenter. He has a very similar job to Roger Alexander. You see the similarities here. Similarities here. Corruption thrives when expertise is replaced with obedience. Corruption thrives when expertise is replaced with obedience. Going back to our man, Roger, in charge of Homeland Security. Like I said to you, before Trump appointing Fox News, a Fox News host, that's number 5, by the way, I'm on, comparison, Trump appointing a Fox News host as a head of the CIA to run the security agencies in America. What is his expertise? Like I said to you, Roger was a TV host himself. He's no security expert. Yet today he runs the Homeland Security. Why? Because he's loyal, he's popular, and he's easy to control. Level with me now. Level with me now. That's exactly how Trump installed the head of the CIA, the Fox News presenter. So, I mean, it's as loud as anything for me. I could see it clear. I hope you can now too. These are not appointments based on competence. These are not appointments based on competence. It's not going to serve the country well in the long run. This appears to be about control. This appears to be about PR, public relations. So when you ask, or when we ask, why crime is out of control, these are the questions you need to ask. This is why you elected this government. So when you ask why crime is still out of control, why prices are rising, why there are no jobs, it's because we've got a government obsessed with power and not progress. Why did you elect them? Why did you elect them? Remind yourself. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit on. Because I know a lot of you guys are tribal as anything. Go look at your bank account and tell me if you're any better off now. All this stuff about it's going to take time. They are not governing. They are not governing. They are settling scores. They are clearing out their rivals. And they are dismantling institutions to replace them with what? Lapdogs. Lapdogs. And it all looks disturbingly familiar to Trumpism. Because it's been done. It's been done now. It's been done before. And it's being done now by a man named Donald Trump. So I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know what you think. I believe this is what revenge politics looks like. You know, sacking the poor, replacing qualified professionals with people that simply agree with you, targeting rivals through global law enforcement. We've seen it all happening in front of our very eyes. It's undeniable at this stage. Turning the public sector into a political army. So this is not, I'll finish by saying this. If you stayed with me this long, please like and subscribe to Trinidad Empowerment Network. Please like and subscribe to Trinidad Empowerment Network. The bigger we grow, the better, the better videos you will get from me. I guarantee you that. This is not what the people voted for. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to work that out. This is not what the people voted for. The Prime Minister wasn't elected to play judge, jury, and executioner. I'm sure you would agree, irregardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, whether it be UNC, PNM, or whoever else, she was elected to fix crime. She was elected to fix education. She was elected to fix the damn country. But so far, what we are seeing is just Trumpism in yellow. So with all of that said, if you believe the people deserve leaders, if you believe the people of Trinidad and Tobago deserve leaders, not tyrants, if you are fed up with political persecution disguised as policy, you know what to do. Hit the like button, share this video, like, subscribe to Trinidad Empowerment Network. Let's build this to the point where we are so big, we become undeniable. They cannot ignore the same old cabal, the same old nonsense, the rinse and repeat. At some point, we have to wake up, and we have to wake them up too, because the power is with the people. The power is with you. And it's about high time you recognize that. And some of us need to speak the truth before this democracy is beyond saving. And that's it. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. I'll see you guys on my next video. For now, much love. God bless. Take care. Peace.